What's good, my YouTube friends and family and fellow Dragon Riders alike? Welcome back, and today we are here with a new unboxing video. So we got some new live action How to Train Your Dragon merchandise, including a Fire Blast Deadly Nadder, some Funko Pops, a Funko Pop keychain, and some popcorn buckets and movie theater drink that I picked up when I saw the movie. Now, with that being said, let's get it started. Alright, so the first piece of merchandise that we're going to be looking at is the CimeMark movie merch. So let's first take a look at the Toothless Gripper Cup. Now, this is actually my favorite piece of merch that I got from CimeMark because I like the way how they did Toothless on this cup. And if you go to the CimeMark and actually pick yourself up one of these, it is like $19.95, and the thing that they use to make Toothless on here is like this rubbery kind of plastic. Sorry, there was still a little bit of liquid in there after last night, so yeah, that's why you just saw some liquid fall out of there. And I like how they did the eyes, kind of like how it reminds me of the Sonic movie 3 action figures that we looked at a few months ago. And there are other CimeMarks out there that sell movie theater cups like this. Well, not CimeMarks, but there are other movie theaters who sell cups like this, except that the only difference is that there are actually little figure toppers that you can put on your cup. And there's two different versions of Toothless, a Deadly Nadder, and a Gronkle. I'm honestly kind of surprised they didn't make one of Hiccup, but that is going to be it for the Toothless Gripper Cup. Now, let's take a look at this Toothless popcorn bucket. Now, this one is okay. I wouldn't recommend putting popcorn in this one because of a few reasons. One, this looks a lot more better as a display piece. Like if you want to have something cool to put on your shelves for display or for show, this will be a good thing. And you can obviously see right here, there's the How to Train Your Dragon logo, which is actually the base and the logo are my favorite colors. I actually think this looks pretty nice for the color pattern. And the reason why I say you really shouldn't put popcorn in this one, because whoever designed this bucket needs to go back to the drawing board because of a few reasons. So one, this popcorn bucket has no lid, so you can't really close the popcorn in case if it gets stale. And if you have it standing up like this when you're at the theater, it only fills up halfway. Now, actually, hold on, let me get a ruler out here real quick. Alright, so the popcorn lid, or the top area of the popcorn bucket, only fills up about like 5.5 inches tall. So that's how much popcorn you could basically put into this bucket. And if you wanted to add even more popcorn, my opinion would be to just face it sideways and just grabbing it from like that. But I didn't really feel like doing that. But overall, there's Toothless's tail fin right there. But yeah, that's my opinion on this popcorn bucket. This one cost me about $25. So if you want to pick that up, feel free to do so. But that's why I also got this popcorn tin. Now, this is because since this popcorn bucket only fills up about 5.5 inches tall, I did not want to get up during the movie and keep refilling my popcorn bucket over and over again. So that's why I bought this tin, so that way I could already have more popcorn to pour into the bucket. But even with putting my hands in that one, didn't really feel uncomfortable, so I just decided to eat the popcorn straight out of this popcorn tin. Now, this goes for about $15 at CimeMark, and this is actually a pretty awesome popcorn tin. So we obviously have Mason Thames and Nico Parker riding on top of Toothless, and we have the How to Train Your Dragon logo embedded into the tin. There's the Night Fury emblem, and we have the How to Train Your Dragon logo on the bottom. And on the inside is basically the inside of a Viking ship. And if you look on the walls, you can actually see some of the indents where, like, right there, that's Toothless. And you might not be able to see because of the lighting, but obviously you can see right there is Nico Parker and Mason Thames. But yeah, that is pretty much going to be it for the CimeMark movie merch. So if you guys are a How to Train Your Dragon fan and want to pick up some of these things when you go and see the movie, feel free to do so. And also, my movie review for How to Train Your Dragon will be coming out either tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, then sometime this next upcoming week. I have all summer to do so. So, that being said, let's get into the other stuff. Alright, next up we will be taking a look at the live action Toothless Funko Pop Keychain. Now, this cost me about I think $7.99 at my local GameStop. So that is where I would probably recommend for you guys to try and find this thing. Now, this is actually a pretty cool keychain, not gonna lie. And there's nothing really much on the back, but there is the logo and the Night Fury emblem on the top. Nothing much. Oh yeah, $7.99 at the bottom. But anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get him outside the package. And here is the Toothless Funko Pop keychain outside the package. Now, this is actually a pretty cool dragon keychain that I would recommend that you put it on your keychain or backpack or whatever. But I wouldn't do that, only because last time I had a How to Train Your Dragon keychain on my keys, the wing and the tail just disappeared out of nowhere. So I'm assuming it probably hit a hard surface, and that's how the keychain broke. So I still have the keychain, but I just kept it inside the box. So yeah, this is actually going to go back in the box after I'm done with the video. But that's pretty much it for the keychain. But hold on, let me give you a full viewing of it. There we go. And now with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the actual Funko Pops. And sizing up a bit, here we have the live action How to Train Your Dragon Funko Pops with Hiccup, Astrid, and the Toothless Deluxe Pop. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Astrid and Hiccup first. And here is Astrid and Hiccup, the Funko Pop versions of them in their package as they would appear on store shelves. Now I got these at my local box lunch for $12.90 for each pop figure, so the total cost me about $27 for both of them. Now these are actually pretty cool pops. Now while going through them, I'm very specific on how I choose my Funko Pop, because I always try to go for the best looking ones that has the perfect paint job on them, no paint has chipped off of them, and no damage on the faces. So I always try to find the best one, and I think I did a pretty good job in trying to find them. Nothing much on the sides, but that's how they are on store shelves. This is what they look on the back side. I'm honestly surprised they don't have a checklist like how they do on all the other Funko Pops. And nothing much on that side viewing there. The top, bottom, but that is pretty much it. Now let's go ahead and get these guys out of their package. And here is the Astrid and Hiccup Funko Pops outside of their packaging. Now, one thing that caught my attention was that Astrid, both of these two, was the only Funko Pop that came with a stand. Meanwhile, Hiccup didn't, because I was trying to stand him up, but I'm guessing his head is a little heavy and lopsided. Well, not really lopsided, but his head's a little heavy that he kept falling over. But I would have recommended getting both of these guys a stand. But anyway, with that being said, let's take a look at the details. Now, looking at Hiccup, they actually got his outfit and everything pretty well. I like how they got the little pouches and stuff from the movie. There's his little dagger right there, a little blowhorn, and a few other pouches. His fur vest is actually pretty cool. And the one thing I will say is that I don't like how light brown his hair is. In the live action movie, his hair was a lot more darker. Kind of like Astrid's hair color, but a little bit more darker. But that's a small nitpick. The head does move, as some Funko Pops do. Nothing else moves. But that's pretty much it for Hiccup. And taking a look at Astrid, aka Nico Parker, they actually got her pretty spot on. I like the little headband, the braids in her hair. The stand just came off. Don't worry about that. Her outfit is actually pretty good. I would say that this outfit represents more of the second How to Train Your Dragon movie rather than the first one. But a pretty good figure nonetheless. Head only moves a little bit, only because of the battle axe in her way, which the battle axe actually looks pretty darn good. Everything else about this Funko Pop, pretty decent. I like the pose that they have her in. Makes you be like, yeah, she's definitely a girl that you don't want to mess around with. But that is it for these Funko Pops. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Toothless Deluxe Funko Pop. And here is the Toothless Deluxe Funko Pop in its package as it would appear on store shelves. Now I got this at GameStop for about $26.99, which is almost $30 because plus tax, but I say it's worth it. Now I like the way how they actually had Toothless displayed on a rock, which is something that I've seen for what's the company called? Sly Shadow, where they make actual statues based off of movie characters. I saw that they did a few dragon statues, and those actually look pretty cool and movie accurate. And I would pick those up, but those statues cost for like about like $200 to $300 or maybe even $400. So that's obviously too expensive for me. Even if I was rich, well, if I was rich, I would probably buy them, but with the money that I'd be having sometimes, no. But I like the box design otherwise. Not that much to look on the side of the box or on this side. Not that much on the bottom or on the top. But on the back, you can see we have a nice display piece of the Toothless Funko Pop. And I'm surprised that we didn't have a Hiccup and Astrid on the side here like how they do with all the other ones. But that being said, let's go ahead and get Toothless out of his package. And here is the Toothless Deluxe Funko Pop out of his package. Now, the background picture that they used for Toothless is actually pretty good. This is basically just the same background cover that we've seen in the mini Book of Dragon blind boxes that we've gotten, but it's just a little bigger. Nothing really much on the back right here, but let's take a look at Toothless. Now, this is actually a pretty good sculpt otherwise. I like the way how they did the scales on here. The head does not move. There's just a big solid piece of plastic. The tail is actually pretty well done. And everything else is obviously fantastic. I actually love this one. I also like how they put like hints of brown on the sides of his tail fins right here to indicate that there is certain lighting coming from a direction of some sort. And I like, well, in the movie, his eyes were more brighter green compared to the 2010 animated film, but I think they made this Toothless eyes a little bit more darker. But other than that, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good Funko Pop of Toothless. And for a quick scale comparison, here's the live action version of the Toothless Funko Pop. Compare it to a Hiccup and Toothless Funko Pop Rides Funko Pop that I had reviewed last year. Now, this is actually my most favorite Funko Pop because it has Toothless and Hiccup in one. I just love the way how they did this one for the 10-year anniversary for How to Train Your Dragon 2 last year, which actually starting yesterday would have been the 11th year anniversary. But overall, these are pretty good, similar in size. I would definitely getting both. Sorry, I cannot speak. I would recommend getting both of these Funko Pops for your collection if you are a big How to Train Your Dragon fan like me. And look at the eye. These eyes should have been a little bit more on this one, only except you can make this guy's eyes a little bit more neonish type of green. Like, yeah, that's why I'm going for. Like, put these eyes in neon green, then it will be a little bit more better. But let's take a look at the last piece of merchandise. And to end off of this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Fire Blast Deadly Nadder. Now, I actually finally found How to Train Your Dragon merchandise at a Walmart in Milford, Connecticut. Now, I honestly do not know why it took Walmart until the movie release to finally put toys on their store shelves when Target and other stores put out their merchandise on May 1st, which is the proper line, not proper line. That was supposed to be the proper release date for all the How to Train Your Dragon merchandises, but for some reason, Walmart decided to wait until the actual movie dropped, which is kind of stupid, considering the other stores were doing it way before them. But hey, better late than never. But I was able to find this at my Walmart for about $16.97 plus taxes and everything, so that will be $8.02. Now, this is actually another Deadly Nadder without his or her saddle, which I actually have a 2025 Deadly Nadder we will be taking a look at later on. That's the side of the box. The other side of the box. On the back of the box, you can see we have a nice image of the Deadly Nadder. And so far, as to my knowledge concerned, this is the first live action How to Train Your Dragon toy that we've seen with a projectile. And as you can see right here, we have a look at the Plasma Sounds Toothless, which we took a look at in our last toy unboxing video. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get this Deadly Nadder outside of its box. And here is the Fire Blast Deadly Nadder outside of his package. Now we have a little game of how to build your dragon, so we will be right back with that. And with just a simple snap, the Deadly Nadder is fully assembled and ready to be played with. Pause on that. Now, one thing I will say is that unlike all the other dragon toys that Spin Master has released that comes with projectiles, this one actually comes with 3 projectiles instead of just one singular projectile. Now, I'm assuming they probably did that because I'm assuming people had trouble in the past with losing their projectiles, so that's what I have to assume. But unlike other people, I actually take care of my projectiles and keep them all in a separate container, nice and safe, along with other How to Train Your Dragon accessories that comes with their figures. Now, set the projectiles off to the side for now. Let's take our main attention onto the Deadly Nadder. Now, this almost feels very similar scaling to the Stormfly that we got in the final battle pack, which actually, if we pull it out right now, is actually, yeah, almost kind of the same size. The only difference is that, well, actually, there is a few difference. Now, both of these are maybe the same scale, but I just noticed that this one has a more bigger head compared to this one. And while this guy's head does rotate, this one does not. But there's also a difference. This one has a saddle, while this one is just a wild Deadly Nadder. Both of them have, yeah. So this one is actually more smaller, while this one's slightly larger because, hold on real quick. So yeah, if we back up the camera just a little bit, you can see that this one has a slightly bigger wingspan compared to the one that we got in the final battle pack set. But yeah, otherwise, a pretty cool Deadly Nadder. And for another scale comparison, here's this Deadly Nadder compared to Astrid, aka Nico Parker. Now, yeah, I honestly have one more thing to say. Like the dragons that have their saddles for the riders to ride on them, I kind of wish that the wild dragons also had pegs on them so riders could actually sit on wild dragons too. That would have been a pretty nice thing to see. But anyway, let us get these projectiles back out here. Oh, we didn't even look at this guy's articulation. So legs do rotate all the way. As you can see on the stomach, there is the Night Fury emblem. Wings are on a ball joint, which are actually my favorite pieces of wings, unlike those real feel dragon wings that we've had in a few months ago. Yeah, ball joints right here. Tail does not rotate. And jaw does not move. Well, it only does a little bit for the action feature, which actually brings us to the actual point. So the way how you work this is that you take a projectile, shove it in its mouth, pause, and that's what she said, like so, and then let us actually bring out something to shoot it with. So let us bring out the Toothless popcorn bucket. And the way to shoot the projectile, unlike in the past where you had to push on the head to shoot the projectile, there's actually a little button hidden right here, so that way when you push it, the projectile will shoot. Now, hold on, let me back up the camera just a smidge. All right, now that the camera's in a more better position to get a good angle, let us shoot the projectile at the Toothless popcorn bucket. So 3, 2, 1, push the button. Okay, not bad. And as you can see, as you push the button down, the jaw does open a little bit. But let's go ahead and shoot it again. This time, let's not aim it at the popcorn bucket and aim it to see how far this thing will actually shoot. There we go. Get the popcorn bucket out the way. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I have to say that they'll probably shoot about like maybe 1 to 2 feet. But yep, that is pretty much going to be it for these Fire Blast Deadly Nadder. Another nice little How to Train Your Dragon figure to add to your collection. And that's going to wrap it up for this unboxing video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And click the notification bell so you are aware whenever I drop a new video for you guys to enjoy. And if you guys like to follow me on my social media accounts, all links will be in the description down below, as well as a link to my second YouTube channel. So make sure you go and follow me there. And to confirm, if you watch my unboxing video from beginning to end, make sure you comment 5 fire emojis. And like I said, a movie review for How to Train Your Dragon 2025 will be coming either tomorrow on Sunday, and if not, then definitely sometime this upcoming week, because I'm on summer vacation now, so I have all the time to do so. And yeah, let me know if you guys also went to see the live action How to Train Your Dragon, and let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. But with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and until then, peace out, my fellow YouTube friends and family members and dragon riders alike.